Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. Oh. Hare Krishna, all the devotees. So I'll explain. You are able to hear me?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is our third class on nectar of
Recording in progress.
Devotion. So, what did we study in the last two classes? Nalini Mataji, can you please recall a little bit? Yes, can you please recall a little bit what we studied in the last class, Mataji? Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay, anyone would like to recall a little bit? Kalyani Mataji, Anjali Mataji, Lata Naik Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
Prabhuji, last class we learned about 5 primary rasas and 7 secondary rasas. In that, servitorship, friendship, parenthood, conjugal love, and 7 secondary rasas: comedy, compassion, fear, chivalry, gaslands, wonder, and devastation. And Anyabhilashta Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, Anukulena Krishnam, Shiranam Bhaktiruttam.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. So that is the most important verse, as we said, in the entire nectar of devotion. So we studied that verse. And so now let us go back to reading. We will read the nectar of devotion directly to Prabhupada's words. So, okay, let's start today. So this is nectar of devotion, chapter. Actually, we are still in introduction. Actually, we have not covered introduction yet. Okay, good. So can you see my screen, everyone? Yes.
Yes,
So what is introduction? So we start with Mangalacharan. You all know, right? Any lecture we give or any book we write, we always start with Mangalacharan. What is Mangalacharan? Invoking auspiciousness. It's called Mangalacharan. So Mangalacharan basically has 3 aspects. One is we offer prayers to Acharyas, to the Guru Parampara, to Krishna himself. Then we seek blessings. And also we establish what is the main content of the text. So in the first verse of Bhakti Sindhu, it starts with the line, Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu. Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu. So Krishna is the embodiment of all rasas, the cause of all causes. You know, Krishna is a reservoir of all rasas. Then we studied the 5 main rasas and 7 secondary rasas. So this will become clear in this book. The 5 primary rasas means Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. And the 7 secondary rasas like, you know, comedy, compassion, fear, chivalry, ghastliness, etc. Okay. So then, Srila Prabhupada offers obeisance to his own spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Prabhupada, Rupa Goswami, and then he prays humbly at the lotus feet. Okay, then we move on. Then we see that how Bhakti Rasa Sindhu is made of the ocean. This ocean is divided into 4 parts. We saw the chart last time, if you remember. I'll just show the chart again for your reference, everyone. And then we went on to that Anushilanam. Yes. So bhakti means some kind of cultivation. Okay. Okay. Can someone start from here? The cultivation of Krishna consciousness is not. Okay, let's begin from here. Yeah. So what is bhakti we discussed? Bhakti means to perform activities for the pleasure of Krishna. To actively perform activities for the pleasure of Krishna. Anya bhilashita shunyam gane karmadena abritam anukulyena Krishnan. Activities we can perform. How do we perform activities? Achal Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
How do you perform activities? Any activity, normally how do we do?
We can perform these like the bhakti, the devotional services, like by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, or by attending the Mangala Arati, by other various devotional services, like Nauda Bhakti is there.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that we do the activities through our mind, through our senses, through our body. How do we do? Through our words?
We engage our consciousness like the senses for the devotional service.
Yeah, so the point is that we do any activity, forget about bhakti, any activity we do through what?
Engaging our mind like for the pleasure of Krishna.
Guruji, listen, I'm just saying general question. हम कोई भी काम करते हैं, हम कैसे करते हैं? How do we do any activity in this world?
Like whatever activities we do, like it is the mind that responds.
Basically, we do activity either through mind, through words, or through body. Like, so for example, we sometimes physical labor is required, cleaning the temple or anybody who does hard work. So one is through body, we do some work. Second is through our words, we speak, like you're answering phone calls every day. So you speak to people. That is one kind of work we do. Then some work we do mentally. We think about something, we plan something. So bhakti means when we engage all our activities, whether through body, mind, or words in the service of Krishna. So like we can read here. Can someone read? Okay, read. Ashil Krishna, you read from here.
It's actually...
Achha. Somebody else would like to read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Nalini Mataji, please read.
Kalyani,
So-
you read. By mistake, he told me. You read,
Yes.
I'll read. You read, you read.
Those who are cultivating spiritual light and executing devotion service are always engaged in activity. Such activity
Can be performed.
performed with the body or with the mind. Thinking, feeling, and willing are all activities of the mind. And when we will do something, the activity comes to be manifested by the gross bodily senses. Thus, in our mental activities, we should always try to think of Krishna and try to plan how to please him. Following in the footsteps of the great acharyas and the personal spiritual master, Master. There are activities of the body, activities of the mind, and activities of speech. A
Okay, just
Krishna
1
con-
minute.
Yes.
So now you understood everyone. So when we act through three things. What three things?
Body, mind, and speech.
Yes. So karmana, manasa, vacha, it is said. Therefore, the sannyasis, they are three danda. Three danda means they engage all these three things in Krishna's service. These three things, when we engage in Krishna's service, so to read on, continue, Mataji.
A Krishna conscious person engages his words in preaching the glories of the Lord. This is called Kirtana. And by his mind, a Krishna conscious person always thinks of the activities of the Lord as he is speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra or engaging in his various pastimes in Vrindavana, with his devotees. In this way, one can always think of the activities and pastimes of the Lord. This is the mental culture of Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Sim-
Thank you.
Yes,
Nalini
sir.
Mataji, you want to read, please? Next paragraph. Similarly.
Yes, Prabhuji. Similarly, we can offer many services with our bodily activities, but all such activities must be in relationship with Krishna. This relationship is established by connecting oneself with the bona fide spiritual master who is the direct representative of Krishna in disciplinary succession. Therefore, the execution of Krishna consciousness activities with the body should be directed by the spiritual master and then performed with faith. The connection with the spiritual master is called initiation. From the date of initiation by the spiritual master, the connection between Krishna and a person cultivating Krishna consciousness is established. Without initiation by a bona fide spiritual master, the actual connection with Krishna consciousness is never performed.
Okay, so we are saying now that what is bhakti? And because this is why I'm spending time is, you must understand what is bhakti. Because bhakti rasamanisan is all about performing, it's about the ocean of devotion, nectar of devotional service. So what is bhakti? We must understand properly. So what we saw in this definition, what is bhakti? Can someone please repeat? Yeah, unmute Lata. Unmute.
Actively performing devotional service for the pleasure of Krishna.
Yeah, please speak Lata Naik Mataji.
Prabhuji, actively performing devotional service for the pleasure of Krishna.
Yes, very good. Actively performing devotional service, actively performing activities, very good. Activities through our body, mind, and words for the pleasure of Krishna. One thing you missed: these activities must be under
Under the guidance of spiritual master with the
yes.
full faith.
Therefore, Anushilanam. Anu means following. So, therefore, the last paragraph we read, it is said that one should do activities in the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, not on our own. Okay. So, we all know that three types of energies that the Lord has: internal, external, and
Marginal energy.
marginal. Like we are part of marginal energy, right? So, living entities, anyway, we are marginal. So, we have to serve someone. So, either we serve Krishna's internal energy or external energy, right? It's only two choices that we have. So, how do we get bhakti? My next question, can someone answer? How do we actually receive bhakti?
Prabhuji, by submissive hearing.
Okay.
Knowingly and we serve the Vaishnavas.
Yes, that is, we can say Agyan Sukriti. But basically, yeah, but the association of devotees, right? So, especially, we get Brahmanda Bhramite, Kona Bhagyavana Jeev, Guru Krishna Kripa Pai, Bhakti Lata Bij. So, that is what Srila Prabhupada tries to explain next, that how it's very important that we understand this fact that we can perform bhakti only by the association of devotees. Let me share the chart before we go further so that you get an overview. So in the group, I have shared the chart, right? All of you saw this?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is what we see, that first how in the preface, Srila Prabhupada is saying, the purpose and nectar of devotion is to make all of us Goswami, to practically tell us how to do bhakti, to tell us the difference between bhakti rasa and material rasa. Then he talks about Rupa Goswami, how he's one of the most important of six Goswamis. We are Rupa Nugas. And then he says, what is rasa, what is melo? He explains the terms bhakti, rasa, amrita, sindhu. Right? Then Mangalacharan. And then we also saw that how the ocean has four directions, four sides: eastern, southern, western, and northern. So we'll be studying this course, the eastern section, which has four waves. First, second, third, fourth. First wave talks about devotion service in general. The six characteristics of what is bhakti, what we are studying now, definition of pure devotion service, then characteristics of pure devotion service, then what is sadhana bhakti, different limbs of devotion service. We'll talk about 64 limbs of devotion service. Then chapter 17, 18 is about bhava bhakti and characteristics of bhava bhakti, and 19th is about prema bhakti. Okay. So, yes. So this is how the description of this is how the, okay. So this is what we are studying now, the definition of pure devotion service. So all of you please remember this verse. I hope all of you have remembered. Let us chant together. Anya bhilashita shunyam. Please repeat.
Anya Bhilashita
Shunyam.
Jnana karmadhyanabritam.
Jnana
Jnana
Karma
karmadhyanavritam.
Anukulyena krishnanu.
Anukule Krishnanu.
Thilanam bhaktiruttama.
Selanam Bhakti Uttama.
Uttama.
So this is what we saw, that this Anukulyenu Krishnanu, that is a primary characteristic. That means for Krishna, Krishnanu. And Anushilanam means active engagement, following in the footsteps of Acharyas. Anukulyana means favorable. Right? So, can someone do unfavorable bhakti also? I have a question for all of you. Can someone think of Krishna unfavorably? Hare Krishna. It's a small group. Please participate in some discussion.
Prabhuji,
I forgot the name which you told, Prabhuji. One person you said, he always keep thinking about Krishna, but everything as if Krishna is going to come and kill him when he eats. Or when
Yes.
he
Who is
sleeps.
that person? Who is that person?
That is
I think
what
now you can answer.
memory means.
Yeah,
I
others,
forgot.
others. Someone else can please say. Yes, Kamsa. Yes, very simple. Yes, Anjali.
Kamsa, right.
Yes, so Kansa is an example. He thought of Krishna. He was also doing Krishna Anushilanam, but not Anukullina, Pratikullina. Therefore, you see, this definition is so scientific. So, this one definition covers all aspects of bhakti. Okay. So, this is where we stopped last time. And then we discussed that how we have to give up jnana and karma. So, what is jnana karma here? This jnana, then why we are studying? So, this jnana is not jnana of bhakti scriptures. But this is speculative jnana, impersonal form of jnana. Okay. Too much going to jugglery, word jugglery, grammar, vyakaran, nyaya, and all that. Okay. We are not going to that. Okay. Okay. So now, so this is what. So before we go to chapter 1, let's finish with the introduction part that we are reading today. Let's continue reading Prabhupada's words. So you can please one by one just take turns. Who will read next? Yes,
Can I?
Meghna Mataji. Yeah, Meghna Mataji, please read. And then Anjali
Yes.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. This cultivation of Krishna consciousness is not material. The Lord has three general energies, namely the external energy, the internal energy, and the marginal energy. The living entities are called marginal energy, and the material cosmic manifestation is the action of the external or material energy. Then there is the spiritual world, which is a manifestation of the internal energy. The living entities who are called marginal energy perform material activities when acting under the inferior external energy. And when they engage in activities under the internal spiritual energy, their activities are called Krishna conscious. This means that those who are great souls or great devotees do not act under the spell of material energy, but act instead under the protection of the spiritual energy. Any activities done in devotional service or in Krishna consciousness are directly under the control of spiritual energy. In other words, energy is a sort of strength, and this strength can be spiritualized by the mercy of both the bona fide spiritual master and Krishna. Thank you.
Very good. Next, who has in the hand? Anjali Mataji, please continue.
In the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Lord Chaitanya stated that it is a fortunate person who comes in a contact with a bona fide spiritual master. By the grace of Krishna, one who is serious about his spiritual life is given by Krishna the intelligence to come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master. And then by the grace of his spiritual master, one become advanced in Krishna consciousness. In this way, the whole jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness is directly under the spiritual energy, Krishna and a spiritual master. This has nothing to do with the material world. When we speak of Krishna, we refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Along with his many expansions, he is expanded by his plenary parts and parcel. His differentiated part and parcel and his different energy, Krishna, in other words, means everything and includes everything. Generally, however, we should understand Krishna to mean Krishna and his personal expansion. Krishna expands himself as Baldev, Sankarshan, Vasudev, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Ram, Narsinga, and Vara, as well as many other incarnation and innumerable Vishnu expansion. These are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam to be numerous as the uncountable waves. So the Krishna include all such expansions as well as his pure devotee. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that Krishna's expansions are all complete in eternity, blissfulness, and cognizance.
Okay, thank you so much. So you see another important definition here, that bhakti, that Krishna Anushilanam. So the word Krishna means also Krishna and his
Paraphernalia.
Energies.
expansions. Like suppose now Ramnami was there. So will we say no, Hanumanji is not a devotee because he's not serving Krishna, he's serving Ram? Can we say like that? Therefore, Prabhupada clarifies that when he say Krishna Anushilanam means Krishna and his direct expansions. That means one can serve Lord Ram, one can serve Narsimdev, one can serve Vamandev, one can serve. So then there's all Krishna. Okay? And also his pure devotees. Okay. So we'll continue reading next. We'll continue reading.
Prabhuji, shall I start?
Yes.
Devotional service means to prosecute Krishna conscious activities which are favorable to the transcendental pleasure of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And any activities which are not favorable to the transcendental favor of the Lord cannot be accepted as devotional service. For example, great demons like Ravana, Kamsa, and Hiranyakashipu were always thinking of Krishna, but they were thinking of him as their enemy. This sort of thinking cannot be accepted as bhakti or Krishna consciousness.
Yes, like with this example. So 3 examples we see: Ravana, Kansa, and
Kamsa,
Hiranyakashipu. They were
Hiranyakashipu.
also thinking of Krishna, but in an unfavorable way. Continue.
Yes, Prabhu. The impersonalists sometimes misunderstand devotional service in such a way that they divide Krishna from his paraphernalia and pastimes. For example, the Bhagavad Gita is spoken on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the impersonalists say that although Krishna is of interest, the battlefield of Kurukshetra is not. The devotees, however, also know that the battlefield of Kurukshetra by itself has nothing to do with their business, but in addition, they know that Krishna does not mean just Krishna alone. He is always with his associates and paraphernalia. For instance, if someone says, give something to eat to the man with the weapons, the eating process is done by the man and not by the weapons. Similarly, in Krishna consciousness, a devotee may be interested in paraphernalia and locations such as the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which are associated with Krishna, but he is not concerned with simply by battlefield. He is concerned with Krishna, his speech, his instructions, etc. It is because Krishna is there that the battlefield is so important.
Yes. So when we say Krishna, it also refers to things connected with Krishna, like his devotees, his pastime places, like Prabhupada says Kurukshetra. So why is Kurukshetra important to us? Because it's connected with Krishna. The battlefield of the Mahabharata battle took place in Kurukshetra. Similarly, Vrindavan. Why Vrindavan is important? Because Krishna performed his pastimes here. When we say Krishna Anushilanam, so it doesn't refer to only Krishna, but also his paraphernalia, things connected to Krishna, like Vrindavan Dham. So if someone serves Vrindavan Dham, then also is serving Krishna. One serves Vaishnavas, he's also serving Krishna. So this is a summary understanding of what Krishna consciousness is. Without this understanding, one is sure to misunderstand why the devotees are interested in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. One who is interested in Krishna consciousness becomes interested in his different pastimes and activities. The definition of a pure devotee, as given by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, can be summarized thus. His service is favorable and is always in relation to Krishna. In order to keep the purity of such Krishna conscious activities, one must be freed from all material desires and mental and philosophical speculation. This jnana and karma means all material desires, that's called karma, and all philosophical speculations called jnana. Any desire except for the service of the Lord is called material desire. And philosophical speculation refers to all sort of speculation which ultimately arrives at conclusion of voidism and impersonalism. Is this clear now? Last class, some devotees are asking, what is this karma and jnana? So what is karma?
Fruitive activities.
Fruitive activities. When we do some activity with material desires or material desires, right? It's called, material desires.
Okay.
Then similarly, what is jnana?
Speculation, philosophical speculation.
Speculation which arrives at the conclusion of impersonalism. Right?
Yes.
Therefore, any kind of philosophical speculation in which we arrive at impersonal form, that is jnana. Right? That means bhakti should be freed from this jnana and karma. So, actual philosophical speculation, if one wants to do also, it should be only to achieve Krishna, not impersonal. Okay? And what is karma? Fruitive activities. Attracted by the Vedas, okay, I will do some punya karma, ritualistic activities, I'll attain Swarga, I'll attain something good. No, that is all unfavorable for bhakti. So Krishna consciousness is simply hearing, chanting, and remembering, like Navada Bhakti, like we discussed. Okay. Okay, can someone read from here? Srila Rupa Goswami has also mentioned.
Hare Krishna. Shall I read, Praji?
Yes, yes.
Srila Rupa Goswami has also mentioned in the definition of bhakti the word jnana karmadi. The karmadi, fruitive work, consists of activities which are unable to help one attain to pure devotional service. Many forms of so-called renunciation are also not favorable to Krishna conscious devotional service. Srila Rupa Goswami has also quoted a definition from the Narada Pancharatra as follows.
Okay, 1 minute. So now we studied the first definition of bhakti, the most important, which is Anyabhilashita
Anyabhilashita.
Shunyam. Is it clear to everyone now?
Yes.
Okay, now we'll study one more definition from Narad Pancharatra, which is Sarva Padhi Vinirmukta Tat Paratvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. Yeah, continue reading.
Okay. As follows. One should be free from all material designations, and by Krishna consciousness must be cleansed of all material contamination. He should be restored to his pure identity, in which he engages his senses in the service of the proprietor of the senses. So when our senses are engaged for the actual proprietor of the senses, that is called devotional sense. In a conditioned state, our senses are engaged in the service in serving these bodily demands. When the same senses are engaged in executing the order of Krishna, our activities are called bhakti.
Yes, so another definition of bhakti is engaging all the senses in service of Krishna.
Hrishikesh.
Giving up all material contamination, just like Anyabhilashita Shunyam, it is a Sarvapadi Vinirmukta, right? Okay. Last paragraph of introduction.
As long as one identifies himself as belonging to a certain family, a certain society, or a certain person, he is said to be covered with designations. When one is fully aware that he does not belong to any family, society, or country, but is eternally related to Krishna, he then realizes that his energy should be employed not in the interest of so-called family, society, or country, but in the interest of Krishna. This is purity of purpose and the platform of pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, very good. So Sarvapadhi, Upadhi. Hamari upadhiya kya hai? What designations we have? Some people think that I am man, some people think woman. That's the first designation. Then we think I am Indian, that's a designation. I am a businessman, that's a designation. So these material designations we have to give up. Sarva Upadhi Vinirmukta. And then with purified mind, we have to engage in all our senses in Krishna service. Rishikena, Rishikesha. What's the meaning of the word Rishikesha?
Master of the senses.
Yes. So we should engage the senses in the service of the master of senses. That is bhakti. Second definition of bhakti. So they're very simple. So what two definitions of bhakti are given? First definition by Rupa Goswami is Anyabhilashita Shunyam, right? That means giving up all karma and fruitive desires. One should actively perform activities for the pleasure of Krishna, following in the footsteps of Acharyas, right? Second definition of bhakti is giving up all material designations, Sarva Padhi Vinirmukta, Tat Paratvina Nirmalam, Rishikena Rishikesa. With all our senses, we serve Krishna, the master of the senses. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now if we go back to the chart, so we completed introduction. Now we'll go to chapter 1. So what is the overview of chapter 1? Chapter 1 talks about characteristics of pure devotional service. So first we saw definition, then we'll see what are the 6 characteristics of. So here we see that there are actually 6 characteristics of bhakti. So Prabhupada starts the chapter with the first characteristic, which is the devotee doesn't even care for liberation. That is called moksha laghutakrit. And others are kleshagni, shubhada, Moksha Sudurlabha. These are the 6 symptoms of bhakti. So we'll go one by one. Let us read the Srila Prabhupada's.
Praji, one question. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
In last definition, like Sarvapadi Vinirmuktam, that is there, like Sarvapadi Vinirmukta Tatpadatvena Nirmalam. Like what does it mean, like Tatpadatvena Nirmalam?
That means purified. Nirmala means pure, free from contaminations. Okay, so who will read chapter 1?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, should I?
Yes, Tushar Prabhu. Yeah, please read.
Yes. Okay. Hare Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 29th chapter, verse 12 and 13, Sri Kapila Deva, while instructing his mother, has given the following characteristics of pure devotional service. My dear mother, those who are my pure devotees and who have no desire for material benefit or philosophical speculation have their mind so much engaged in my service that they are never interested in asking me for anything except to be engaged in that service. They do not even beg to live in my abode with me. There are 5 kinds of liberation, namely to become one with the Lord, to live with the Supreme Lord on the same planet, to have the same feature of the Lord, to enjoy the same opulence as the Lord, and to live as a companion of the Lord. A devotee, what you speak of rejecting material sense gratification, does not even want any of the 5 kind of liberation. He is ready to satisfy simply by discharging pure devotion. From Srimad Bhagavatam, the actual position of a pure devotee is described, and the primary characteristics of devotional service are also defined. Further, characteristics of devotional service are described by Rupa Goswami. He states that there are 6 characteristics of a pure devotional service, which are as follows.
Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna.
So this is what we showed in the chart, that the 6. So now this verse that he's referring, this is a verse by Kapil Dev. In 3rd canto, where Lord Kapila is saying, Salokya Sashti Samipya Sarupyam Ekatvam Apyuta Diyamanam na Grinanti Vina Mat Sevanam Jana. Can someone read the translation?
A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation. Salokya, Sarsti, Sampya, Sarupya, or Ekatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, so these are how many types of mukti are there?
4.
See, 5 types of mukti.
5.
So what are they? We will study one more. What is Salokya means? Anyone can know? Explain what is Salokya?
Living on the same planet.
Same planet, Saloka. That means Krishna is living in Golok Vrindavan, we also stay there. Or Lord Narayana is Vaikuntha, we also stay in the same abode as the Lord. Salokya. Sarshti means same.
Having the same opulence.
Opulence. Then Samipya means living near the Lord. Paas mein rehna. Samipya. That means you always stay near the Lord. Then Sarupya. That means you become like the Lord. Like in Vaikuntha also everyone has 4 hands. And same bluish complexion. So that's, they resemble Krishna. Sarupya. Last is Ekatva. Merging into
oneness.
Krishna. Devotees, do they want Ekatva?
No, Prabhuji, no.
No, because Ekatva means become one with Krishna. That devotee never wants. He always wants to serve Krishna. So bhakti is so great, pure bhakti, Shuddha bhakti, that devotee doesn't even care for these 5 kinds of liberation. That is a point being made by Rupa Goswami in this verse. Now we'll study the 6 features of bhakti one by one. So you saw in the chart what the 6 symptoms of bhakti? Kleshagni, relief from material desires. Shubhada, all auspicious. Derives happiness from liberation. Moksha lagutakrit. Difficult to achieve. Sudurlabha. Then incalculably contains bliss, Sadhananda Visheshatma, and 6 is attracts Sri Krishna Akarshana. So now we study one by one. The first one is relief from all material desires, Kleshagni. So we'll continue studying Srila Prabhupada's direct words. Okay, so who will volunteer to read now?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Just a minute, let me go back. Yes. So first thing is Kleshagni, pure devotion service begins. So in the book, Srila Prabhupada is not mentioning the Sanskrit names. In the chart, you can see the Sanskrit name. Okay.
Prabhuji,
So
can I
the
read?
first one we are discussing relief from material desires. Okay, from here you read. Who will read?
Yes, Prabhuji. In
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that one should surrender unto him, giving up all other engagements. The Lord also gives his words there that he will protect surrendered souls from the reactions of all sinful activities. Srila Rupa Goswami says that the distresses from sinful activities are due both to the sins themselves and to sins committed in our past lives. Generally, one commits sinful activities due to ignorance, but ignorance is no excuse for evading the reaction sinful activities. Sinful activities are of two kinds, those which are matured and those which are not matured. The sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present moment are called mature. The many sinful activities stored within us for which we have not yet suffered are considered immature. For example, a man may have committed criminal acts but not yet been arrested for them. Now, as soon as he is detected, arrest is waiting him. Similarly, for some of our sinful activities, we are awaiting distresses in the future. And for others, which are mature, we are suffering at the present moment.
Yes, thank you. So again, we'll see the chart. So why are we suffering? Let's discuss 1 minute. Why do we suffer? हम क्यों संसार में कष्ट भोगते हैं?
प्रभु जी, जो भी
Because
हम लोग
of our
कर रहे हैं ना,
sins.
हाँ, हमारे सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के लिए कर रहे हैं ना, इसके लिए हम लोग सफर होते हैं.
But what is wrong? It's good. What is wrong in trying to gratify senses? Who will say
Pardon,
that?
Prabhu?
Why are we suffering?
Prabhuji, because of our sinful activities
Yes, very good.
done in past or
Yeah.
past
So
lifetime.
it's actually main reason for our suffering is sin, papa. Because if you do sense gratification also, if you do in terms of Vedas, there is no papa in that. Like if someone follows all the rules, regulations and wants to enjoy senses, he will not get papa. Therefore, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But those who do adharma, because of jo paap ke raaste mein jaate, those who follow the path of sinful activities, they get suffering. So they get result of papa. That is suffering. So this is a nice chart. The real cause of suffering is, okay, now why we do papa? The next question. Why we do sin?
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Therefore, the real cause of suffering is avidya, ignorance. So because of this avidya, we have sinful desires called bijam. Then we do papam, we do sinful acts. The moment we do sinful acts, there are some reaction, aprarabdha or prarabdha. And not only that, there is a kutam, there is a sinful disposition. That means you again want to do that papa. You understand? The moment we do a papa, two things happens. Once you get reaction, second thing is,
Repeatedly.
huh?
Repeat it again.
Tendency
Yeah,
to
again
do
we
it.
want to do sin,
Tendon.
sinful disposition. Yes. This chart is very important. I have already shared to you. This very little technical to understand that what is bijam, kutam, papam, aprarabdha and prarabdha. Okay, what is aprarabdha and prarabdha? Prarabdha means that sinful activities for which you already got the result. Like somebody born in some poor family, or someone having some physical disability. So these are all called prarabdha. Already we can see in that person has got the reaction. Aprarabdha means what? It's in process. We have not got yet, but very soon we'll get unmanifested reaction. Okay, let's continue reading.
Prabhuji, 1 minute. I didn't understand the last one.
A little technical.
Unmanifested. You said.
Yeah. We'll explain. Let's read the.
Okay.
Let's finish the purport. Little technical. This one.
Prabhuji, shall I continue?
Yes.
In this way, there is a chain of sinful activities and their concomitant distresses and conditioned soul is suffering life after life due to these sins. He is suffering in the present life the results of sinful activities from his past life, and he is meanwhile creating further sufferings for his future life. Mature sinful activities are exhibited if one is suffering from some chronic disease, if one is suffering from some legal implication, if one is born in a low and degraded family, or if one is uneducated or very ugly.
These are
There are
prarabdha. That means already the reactions are manifest. We are ugly. We are some kind of very serious health issues or some legal issues. That means already these are because of past sinful activity. Please continue.
There are many results of past sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present moment, and we may be suffering in the future due to our present sinful activities. But all of these reactions to sinful deeds can immediately be stopped if we take to Krishna consciousness. As evidence for this, Rupa Goswami quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 14th chapter, verse 19. This verse is in connection with Lord Krishna's instruction to Uddhava, where he says, "My dear Uddhava, devotional service unto me is just like a blazing fire which can burn into ashes unlimited fuel supplied to it. The purport is that as the blazing fire can burn any amount of fuel to ashes, so devotional service to the Lord in Krishna consciousness can burn up all the fuel of sinful activities. For example, in the Gita, Arjuna thought that fighting was sinful activity, but Krishna engaged him on the battlefield under his order, and so the fighting became devotional service. Therefore, Arjuna was not subjected to any sinful reactions."
Yes. So this is the explanation of aprarabdha and prarabdha. So we are suffering because of our sinful reactions. Like in the present, we are suffering because of
Prarabdha.
past. What sin we did in past. And
Prarabdha.
what sin we are doing now will suffer for them in
Aprarabdha.
future. So what is the solution? So now next, if we read, Prabhupada will tell the solution. Like someone is born ugly, some legal problem, right? Yeah. So just like blazing fire can burn everything, similarly, bhakti can burn all our sinful actions, reactions. So now Rupa Goswami will give some reference to it. Yes, please continue reading.
Srila Rupa Goswami quotes another verse from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 33rd chapter, verse 6, in which Devahuti addresses her son Kapila Deva and says, "My dear Lord, there are 9 different kinds of devotional service, beginning from hearing and chanting. Anyone who hears about your pastimes, who chants about your glories, who offers your obeisances, who thinks of you, and in this way executes any of the 9 kinds of devotional service, even if he is born in a family of dog eaters, the lowest grade of mankind, becomes immediately qualified to perform sacrifices. As such, how is it possible that anyone actually engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness has not become purified? It is not possible. One who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service has without doubt become free from all contaminations of material sinful activities. Devotional service, therefore, has the power to actually nullify all kinds of reactions to sinful deeds. A devotee is nevertheless always alert not to commit any sinful activities. This is his specific qualification as a devotee. The Srimad Bhagavatam states that by performing devotional service, a person who was born even in a family of dog eaters may become eligible to take part in the performance of the ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Vedas. It is implicit in this statement that a person born into a family of dog eaters is generally not fit for performing yajna or sacrifice. The priestly caste in charge of performing these ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Vedas is called a Brahmana order. Unless one is a Brahmana, he cannot perform these ceremonies.
verse quoted from Bhagavatam. You can read. Yannamadheya Shravananu Kirtana Yat Pravanadyat. Yeah, please repeat. Ya Pravanadyat Smaranadapi Kvachit.
Yat
Yat smaranapi kvachit.
Swadopi Sadya Savanaya Kalpate.
Swadopi satya sravanaya kalte.
Uta Punaste Bhagavanu Darshanat.
Kuta punaste bhagavan darshanat.
So Mother Devotee is saying to Kapil Dev. What is saying? Someone read the translation, please.
To say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face, even a person born in a family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him.
Yeah, read the purport.
Herein, the spiritual potency of chanting, hearing, or remembering the holy name of the Supreme Lord is greatly stressed. Rupa Goswami has discussed the sequence of sinful activities of the conditioned soul, and he has established in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that those who engage in devotional service become freed from the reactions of all sinful activities. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, which verse in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says? Which verse of Bhagavad Gita Krishna says he'll free from all sinful reactions?
Prabhuji,
Tell me,
18.
Mataji, very simple. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam saranam vraja
Amekam Sharanam Vraja.
aham tam sarva papabhi
18.66.
mokshasami masu. Yes. So this is very famous verse. Krishna is saying directly, if you surrender to me, I'll free you from all sinful reactions. So this is what we are studying here. That how everything, prarabdha, kuta, bija, everything will be removed by bhakti. Solutions. What is the solution? So
Pure
this is what in the
devotional.
chart we can say. Prarabdha. See what it is said. Kapil Dev, they were saying, even if someone is born in a Chandal family, now birth in Chandal family is what? Prarabdha or aprarabdha? Who can say?
Prarabdha.
Is visible. You are taking birth in such a low family because of your past sin.
Karmas.
But still, if you're doing bhakti, you can perform yajna.
Yoshni.
That means your prarabdha is destroyed by doing bhakti. Then there's a statement in Padma Puran also. At Kutam, Bhujam, Phalanmukham, Prarabdha, everything is destroyed by Vishnu Bhakti. And then Bhagavad Gita is the biggest proof where Krishna is saying, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam shanam raja aham tam sarva papebhyo. Krishna is saying, whatever may be your sin, where is papa, bija, kuta, prarabdha, aprarabdha, everything I will destroy. Then the further explanation came for aprarabdha, for bijam and for avidya. Let us read step by step. So we'll continue reading Srila Prabhupada's wonderful book, Nectar of Devotion. So we saw this verse. Therefore, you will see many verses quoted from Bhagavatam. Yes. So you finish this, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, continue. A person born in.
A person is born in a Brahmana family or in a family of dog eaters due to his past activities. If a person is born in a family of dog eaters, it means that his past activities were all sinful. But if even such a person takes to the path of devotional service and begins to chant the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare. He is at the once fit to perform the ritualistic ceremonies. This means that his sinful reactions have immediately become neutralized. It is stated in Padma Purana. There are four kinds of effects due to sinful activities, which are listed as follows. First, the effect which is not yet fructified. Second, the effect which is lying as seed. Third, the effect which is already mature. And fourth, the effect which is almost mature. It is also stated that all these four effects become immediately vanquished for those who surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu and become engaged in his devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. Those effects described as almost mature refers to the distress from which one is suffering at present, and the effects lying as seed are in the core of the art, where there is a certain stock of sinful desires which are like seeds. The Sanskrit word kutam means that they are almost ready to produce the seed or effect of the seed. An immature effect refers to the case where the seedling has not begun. From this statement of Padma Purana is understood that material contamination is very subtle. Its beginning, its fruition and results, and how one suffers such results in the form of distress are part of great chain. When one catches some disease, it is often very difficult to ascertain the cause of the disease, where it originated and how it is maturing. The suffering of a disease, however, does not appear all of a sudden. It actually takes time. And as in the medical field, for precaution's sake, the doctor injects a vaccination to prevent the growing of contamination. The practical injection to stop all the fructifications of the seeds of our sinful activities is simply engagement in Krishna
Hari
consciousness.
bol, Hari bol. So how many have taken COVID vaccine? Yes. So Prabhupada is mentioning the example of vaccine. Just like if you take a vaccine, you're not infected by COVID virus. Similarly, if you take the vaccine of Krishna consciousness, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then will not be affected with the which kind of virus will not be affected by?
Maya.
Maya virus or Papa virus. We can never do any Papa. Okay, now what is the example of, can someone tell an example of a story where a very sinful man, he did bhakti and all his desire to do sin went away?
Bilamangal Thakur.
Bengal Thakur, yeah. But here Prabhupada refers to story in Bhagavatam. What is Ajamil story?
Ajamil,
Sarvaganam
yes.
to please read
Yes, yes. Please.
in this connection.
1 minute, my phone hang on. In this connection, the Sukadeva Goswami speaks in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, second chapter, verse 17, about the story of Ajamila, who began life as a fine and beautiful Brahmana, but in his young manhood became wholly corrupted by a prostitute. At the end of his wicked life, just by calling the name Narayana, Krishna, he was saved despite so much sin. Sukadeva points out that austerity, charity, and performance of ritualistic ceremonies for counteracting sinful activities are recommended processes, but that by performing them, one cannot remove the sinful desire seed from the heart, as was the case with Azamila in his youth. The sinful desire seed can be removed only by achieving Krishna consciousness. And this can be accomplished very easily by chanting the Mahamantra or Hare Krishna Mahamantra as recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In other words, unless one adopts the path of devotion service, he cannot be 100% clean from all reactions of sinful activities.
Very good. Someone may say, okay, I am not doing Papa, but still the desire for Papa is still there. The desire for Papa will only go with the process of
Service.
bhakti, Krishna consciousness.
Krishna
Thank you.
consciousness.
Okay, next, who wants to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
By performing Vedic ritualistic activities, by giving money in charity, and by undergoing austerity, one can temporarily become freed from the reactions of sinful activities, but at the next moment, he must again become engaged in sinful activities. For example, a person suffering from venereal disease on account of excessive indulgence in sex life has to undergo some severe pain in medical treatment, and he is then cured for the time being. But because he has not been able to remove the sex desire from his heart, he must again indulge in the same thing and become a victim of the same disease. So, Medical treatment may give temporary relief from the distress of such venereal disease, but unless one is trained to understand that sex life is abominable, it is impossible to be saved from such repeated distress. Similarly, the ritualistic performances, charity and austerity, which are recommended in the Vedas, may temporarily stop one from the acting in sinful ways, but as long as the heart is not clear, one will have to repeat sinful activities again and again.
Yes, very good. So even if we do some prashchita, we do some papa, but still the desire for doing papa is again we'll do papa. Like many people, they go to bath in Ganga Yamuna. Yes, sinful activities destroyed, but the problem is that they again do sins. Therefore, just destroying sin is not enough. You destroy the desire to do sin. And that can go only by the process of
Krishna
Krishna
consciousness.
consciousness.
yes, Krishna consciousness, no other process. So another example is given in Bhagavatam 6 Canto is about elephant. Elephant takes bath in water, but he comes back, he fills with dust. Similarly, many people, they go from temple or they confess that, okay, I've done something wrong. But when they go back, they again become dirty. They again cover themselves with dust. Okay, another example is saying about how a person who serves Krishna becomes free. Yat pada pankaja palas vilas bhakta karma shayam grahitamutrayanti santa tadvarna rikta matayo yatayo piruddha shrot ganastam aranyam bhajavasudevam. Very beautiful verse. Can someone read translation?
The devotees who are always engaged in the service of the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord can very easily overcome hard-knotted desires for fruitive activities. Because this is very difficult, the non-devotees, the jnanis and yogis, although trying to stop the waves of sense gratification, cannot do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva.
Yes, clearly saying Bhaja Vasudeva. So Krishna is referring, so Lishna Prabhupada explained the same thing. Yes. Fourth canto, yeah. So, yes. What is a tight now false ego? This is due to ignorance, avidya, I said. Avidya is the root cause of all problems, because of which we have ignorance of, we can think ourselves the body, right? Another verse from from Padma Puran which says, can someone read from here?
Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the highest enlightenment, and when such enlightenment is there, it is just like a blasting forest fire, killing all the inauspiciousness snakes of desire. The example is being given in this connection that when there is forest fire, the extensive blazing automatically kills all the snakes in the forest. There are many snakes on the ground of the forest, and when a fire takes place, it burns the dried foliage, and the snakes are immediately attacked. Animals who have four legs can flee from the fire or can at least try to flee. The snakes are immediately killed. Similarly, the blazing fire of Krishna consciousness is so strong that the snakes are ignorance are
Yes, another
immediately killed.
example again, just like blazing fire in the forest. So other animals are killed, but snake is left out. So yes, sorry, snakes are killed, they cannot go. So this Krishna consciousness is so strong that snakes of ignorance can be destroyed. That's the first quality. What is second? In the chart we saw, first was Kleshagni, that is cessation of all material desire. Second is
Subhada.
Subhada. Please remember these things, okay? Subhada. I've already sent you the chart. Yeah. So first is Kleshagni, that means removing all sins. The root of sins is, root of sinful action is, who can say Why we do avidya, correct. So these are the 6 symptoms of pure devotional service. Kleshagni, we read all auspicious, Shubhada, then derives happiness of liberation, moksha gutagrit, difficult to achieve, sudurlabha, and Sandrananda Viseshatma, Shri Krishna Akarshini. Okay. Okay, so 10 minutes, time is up. So today we saw the first characteristics and we just read second one also quickly. Yes, can someone read? Krishna is all auspicious.
Krishna consciousness is all auspicious. Srila Rup Goswami has given a definition of auspiciousness. He says that actual auspiciousness means welfare activities for all the people of the world. At the present moment, groups of people are engaged in welfare activities in terms of society, community, or nation. There is even an attempt in the form of the United Nations for World Health Activity. But due to the shortcomings of limited national activities, such a general mass welfare program for the whole world is not practically possible. The Krishna consciousness movement, however, is so nice that it can render the highest benefit to the entire human race. Everyone can be attracted by this movement and everyone can feel the result. Therefore, Rup Goswami and other learned scholars agree that a broad propaganda program for the Krishna consciousness movement of devotional service all over the world is the highest humanitarian welfare activity. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So Shubhada, it's the best, highest welfare activity is to give Krishna consciousness to others. Therefore, Shubhada. It's always beneficial for the person to whom we give that. Third is, okay, so I think we'll stop here. It's time. So this is what we'll be covering, the 6 symptoms of pure devotional service. Because it's important, that's why I'm going a little slow. Okay, so this is what you can see in the chart. And then we'll go in the next class, little detail in all that. This is what the chart, Papam, Bhujam. Then we're looking at solution, Parabdha. So as solution, everything is do bhakti. All the Papa, Bija, Kuta, Prarabdha, everything will be destroyed. Another famous image, Ajamil, who chanted the name of Narayana at his deathbed and he was cured by Narayana. Subhada, that means it's all auspicious. Anyway, so like that we can continue. So any questions, any comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
What you have told as the root of sins?
Avidya.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Yes,
Actually, Prabhuji, one day I met one relative. She was Om Shanti follower. That day I am doing some kirtana in my relation house. She started explaining me that Bhagavad Gita is not spoken by Sri Krishna. It is spoken by Lord Shiva. He followed very well, and he became great one, number one. That type of explanation she used to do, Prabhuji. So this is all ignorance only, na Prabhuji?
Yes, avidya means basically ignorance of ourself and of Krishna. So the moment you understand that I am servant of Krishna, avidya is gone. So the moment we think that I am enjoyer, I am proprietor, people, they don't know difference between Krishna and Shiva. This is all ignorance, avidya. So because of this avidya, we are suffering. We are thinking that I am the body, I am the mind, and this is place for me to enjoy. So this false identification, avidya. So when you get vidya, means actual transcendental knowledge, that Jivara Sopra Krishna Tadas, that I am Krishna's servant, and therefore my duty is to serve Krishna. So that is the beginning of bhakti. The root of bondage is avidya. So bhakti attacks at that root, avidya. So when we perform bhakti, our avidya is gone. Okay? Okay, so I was also,
Hare Krishna
yes.
Prabhuji. One point you
Yes,
have told it about dharma, arth, kam, moksha. Like those person who follow this is free from like sinful reaction. I couldn't understand. Can you explain?
हाँ तो क्या क्वेश्चन है आपका तुषार प्रभु?
हाँ जी, आपने बताया ना धर्म और काम,
हाँ
हाँ, जो ये फॉलो करते हैं तो वो लाइक वो सिंफुल रिएक्शन से दूर होते हैं, और लोग मतलब आपने जो एग्जांपल दिया था वो मुझे समझ में आई क्या होता है ये धर्म काम मोक्ष।
Okay, very good. See, means basically पाप तब होता है when we break the scriptural injunctions. अब जैसे धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष में है कि you can go after marriage संस्कार, you can be in a married family, then you can enjoy also, but you will not get sinful reaction. But in marriage also you have to be very careful. Like Prabhupada says, very important. Like this modern ways of stopping childbirth, that is also sinful. But the good point is, जो आपने अच्छा point बोला, no matter how much we follow dharma, the moment we engage in sense gratification, always there will be some papa. Very intelligent question. So, therefore, best is we should give up material sense enjoyment. Therefore, anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavrita. Because even if you follow path of dharma, still there will be some mistakes, or the material desires will keep on increasing. So, will not be freed from material desires. So, the only way we can be free from material desires is by performing bhakti. So therefore, so much importance is given on these 6 characteristics to convince us that what is the power of bhakti. It can destroy everything. Prarabdha, aprarabdha, kutam, bijam, everything can be destroyed by bhakti. Otherwise, it's so difficult to finish all this. Ultimately, avidya will be destroyed. Prema bhakti jahavite, avidya vinasha jate, vedigaya jahara charita. So avidya vinash. So this by doing bhakti, by the mercy of Guru, avidya will be destroyed. Okay. Okay, so I'm very grateful to at least 11, 12 devotees who came today for the class. So this is the last month of our class. By the end of April, we'll complete the entire Bhakti Shastri syllabus. So thank you very much. Please try to come just 2 days a week. So we'll be having exactly 8 classes, maybe 7 classes. 7 or 8 classes will complete the entire Nectar of Devotion. So please be on time. This is a very, very important book. So thank you very much for joining. So we'll meet on Sunday evening again, okay? Thank you very much. Vancha kalpataruvasya kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo. Shrila Prabhupada ki jai. Samita Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, thank you.
Hare Krishna.